This is LBC from Global, leading Britain's conversation with Nick Abbot.
Yeah! Dude!
Well, let's get back to it.
Thunderstorms and torrential rain hit the southeast of England this week, causing London, Victoria and other stations to flood amid warnings of danger to life caused by fast-flowing and deep flood water. This is all perfectly normal. It's not the effects of climate change, goodness me, no. Why would anybody think that? Commuters in London, who could be bothered to go into the office, battled to get home through the intense downpours, which significantly disrupted public transport by closing tube stations and submerging sections of the M25. Nothing to see here, it's just weather. The well-known expert Brexit negotiator and melting candle lookalike, Lord David Frost, said so himself. One family caught in the floods along the North Circular Road were forced to break a window before abandoning their car. They actually had to break a window to get out of their car. That's how much water they were surrounded by. They should have taken a boat. The North Circular Road will henceforth be known as the North Circular Canal when there is a hint of moisture in the air. This is all perfectly normal for a well-run country. In Brent Cross, cars were seen driving through floodwater in one direction, while the other side of the road was completely shut off due to the deep water. The Environment Agency urged people not to drive through flood water, warning that it is often deeper than it looks, and just 30 centimetres of flowing water is enough to make a car float. How do you make a car float? You simply add ice cream. Yellow and amber warnings were put out for huge swathes of the country.
Warning, warning!
And there is no good sentence that includes the word swathes. Torrential downpours across swathes of the country left roads swamped, drains deluged, and people desperately trying to keep floodwaters at bay. The whole country is sinking. Meanwhile, we have too much water and too little water.
What?
A drought was declared last week in 8 areas of England, including but not limited to Devon, Cornwall, Kent and South London. Several water firms, Welsh Water, Southern Water and South East Water included amongst them, have already imposed hosepipe bans to tackle the shortage. South West Water was the latest company to announce restrictions in Cornwall, wherever that is, which will kick in on August the 23rd. Yorkshire Water's ban will start on August the 26th, and Thames Water has said it is planning one, but has not confirmed the date. They're making us guess. Isn't it exciting?
No.
More than 35 million people are now living under current or imminent hosepipe bans, which have nothing to do with the fact that water companies are literally throwing away the water that they are telling us to conserve. Thames Water alone is losing 635 million litres a day. Do you know how much 635 million litres is?
No.
Of course you don't. So I've worked it out for you. 635 million litres wasted a day is 8 million baths full every day. They're throwing away 8 million baths full every day. And that's just Thames Water. They take your water and throw it away. And they take your sewage and throw it in the river. All part of the service.
Thank you!
Last week, the water minister... they've actually got a minister for water. He's called Steve Double. He said, all water companies have reassured us that essential supplies are still safe, and we have made it clear it is their duty to maintain those supplies. No. Once again, every time one of them says, we have made it clear that, you can ignore everything that comes after that word. The Tory government have not made anything of the sort clear. What they've made clear, since they sold off our water, and especially over the last 12 years, is what water companies, they can do anything they like, including throwing away more water than we poor dopes who pay for it actually use. That's true. And when it suits them, they can pour raw sewage into the sea where children swim. You know, like that Bob Dylan song from Blood on the Tracks, Tangled Up in Poo.
Disgusting.
Local reservoirs are at their lowest levels in years. And in Pembrokeshire, tankers are being used to ferry water around the county to make sure everyone has something to drink. This is all perfectly normal for a well-run country. I mean, really, this is embarrassing, isn't it? The length of a drought is difficult to predict, much as is next weekend's weather. But this one is expected to last at least until October. It comes after the driest first half of the year since 1976. 1976, when punk was breaking through. The Damned released New Rose. Is she really going out with him?
Yes.
Apparently so. The Ramones blasted out in New York in 1976. Stevie Wonder released Songs in the Key of Life in 1976. AC/DC released It's a Long Way to the Top If You Want to Rock and Roll in 1976. In 1976, Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers put out their first album. But in jolly old Blighty, the actual biggest selling single of 1976 was Brotherhood of Man, Save Your Kisses for Me.
Oh, no.
That's right. Wow. 6 weeks at number 1. And even after the rain starts falling, by the way, it takes months and months for reservoirs and underground groundwater to replenish again, meaning that Britain could stay in drought status for quite some time. Of course, if we hadn't been uniquely stupid enough to sell off our actual bloomin' water supply to private bloomin' enterprise, then we might have spent some of those billions that went to shareholders and management for excellence in showing up for work on fixing the bloomin' leaks. But I suppose that's socialist talk, and we don't want that round these parts.
No, 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 no.
And as the UK enters next week, the Met Office forecasters are predicting highs of the mid-20s, with high pressure building to create a more settled weather pattern than this week. Listeners in Glasgow will get their own weather.
Correct.
Checking for you while you wait. Aha! Glasgow, raining tonight and raining tomorrow, and then, not raining on Sunday. Pfft, rubbish. Oh no, it is. Raining on Sunday and then raining on Monday, and just checking for Tuesday. Yes, raining on Tuesday and raining on Wednesday, and then not raining for a week and a half. That's what my phone says. My smartphone is an idiot. Tonight, dry, cooler night than recently in the southeast, becoming windier in the northwest with rain arriving overnight. Of course it will. Saturday, rain and showers, some heavy in the northwest. Sunny spells and a few showers further south. And the outlook for Sunday to Tuesday, showers and sunny spells, then cloud and rain. Would you like to hear the long-range forecast for the next 4 weeks?
No.
Okay. Last 2 weeks of August. Last 2 weeks of summer. Settled conditions are expected all over the place, with fine and dry weather to most places, except you know where. Cooler air will characterise the northwest, with the southwest becoming very warm. Light winds, plenty of sunshine, generally warm. Then, the first 2 weeks of September. Summer's over, but it could still be nice. Good luck, everyone. So the first 2 weeks of autumn. September brings unsettled conditions across the UK, becoming more changeable, though average conditions will be seen for this time of year. But temperatures are likely to be warm and remain warm throughout the period. Temperatures are likely to be warm and remain warm throughout the period. We'll take it. Archie texts, I've just finished my stint at the Edinburgh Festival, telling hopelessly unfunny jokes and doing impersonations nobody recognised. Thankfully, a baby saved the day by starting to cry. Now I've gone viral with my narrative on audiences who can't parent their kids. Well, that's just offensive to whoever that bloke was. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but I completely agree in every way, shape and form. Babies should be quiet and grow up. Dave texts, I've just tried Dream Machine in Belfast. Amazing. It's like Kubrick's 2001 when Dave Bowman travels inside the monolith. Yeah, that's right.
Groovy.
If you haven't been to a Dream Machine, it's in Belfast. I also think it is in Edinburgh. I think it's in Edinburgh right now, then you've got to go. Go, 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 go. Go now. Don't pause. Don't delay. Do it today or tomorrow at the very earliest. The very latest would make more sense. It's an amazing thing. I went twice. They had it in Woolwich. You put on your... no, you don't put on anything of the sort. You you just lie in a prone position, close your eyes, and they play lights on your eyes, and it makes your brain go... I'm telling you, you've never seen anything like it in your life. But what he said, that bit at the end of 2001, that's exactly what it looks like. It is wild, and it's just your brain making the pretty colours because they're just flashing white lights at you, and you see an entire rainbow of colours, yellow, red and yellow and green and blue.
Groovy.
Yeah, book it. It's free, or at least it was in Woolwich. I expect it is there too in Belfast and Edinburgh. Tickets are selling fast. Go now. Southend. Hello, Linda.
Oh, hello, Nick.
Linda.
I'd like to wish you happy birthday.
Oh,
for
thanks,
Monday.
Linda. Monday.
For Monday, yeah. We actually share the same month.
Same month. Wow.
We do.
What are the odds on that?
I know. Mine was actually 2 weeks ago today.
Right.
But, there's a big but.
Mm-hmm.
It might be best not to make any plans because I ended up in A&E on my birthday.
Did you?
Yes. I went to the opticians just to make an appointment.
Yeah.
But I was having a little bit of trouble with one of my eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And when I explained all the symptoms, they sent me straight to A&E, saying it could be suspected detached retina.
And?
It wasn't, thank goodness. But all our plans obviously went to pot.
Yes.
But I must admit, though, Nick, the service was really, really good. I mean, I know, a lot of people there
you make it sound like a hotel.
No, well, not quite, but I mean, a lot of people are moaning, aren't they, about the NHS?
Yes, moaning.
Whinging and whining and moaning.
Yeah. How long did you have to wait in a hard plastic chair?
We were there about an hour and a half.
What?
And only about an hour and a half, and we saw 7 different departments we went to.
7?
Yeah,
What?
7, till we ended up at the eye clinic. In the hospital.
Well, which departments did they send you to?
They kept sending me to like acute treatment because they weren't too sure what was wrong until eventually they put me on this special eye machine,
Right.
and which could see right to the back of your head. I think I got a brain there, but you never know. They didn't say that anyway. But I just think it was really good, you know. We weren't there that long at all.
Well, every now and again somebody gets lucky, Linda. But I guess lucky is not quite the right word, it having happened on your birthday. But I do wish you all the best. There you are. An unsolicited testimonial for the NHS. Only an hour and a half in A&E. On her birthday. Thanks a lot, Linda. Mark texts, Truss is in need of urgent therapy. She's a mini-me Thatcher clone. Instead of helping the public, all you hear from her are those dreadful vocal cords, which makes my dog run and hide. With their final solution plans to ruin our great country, I'd feel a lot safer having Ken Dodd as MP and his sidekick, another listener with material. A listener with material.
Oh, no.
Please spare us from listeners with material. Let's see what this one's like. Peter texts, just look at the absolute state of Truss and Sunak. They look like dueling vines in a jungle striving for the sunlit uplands, except there's a sleeping sloth on the tree just above them, blocking their ascent. More material. Yeah, okay. Ealing. John.
Hello.
John.
I'll tell you what, Linda was very lovely, but I'll tell you, she said happy birthday, and then she said, by the way, my eyes got messed up.
Yeah.
So I don't know what, it doesn't really kind of... Sorry, it's kind of a happy birthday with a veiled threat. But but anyway, what I would say to you is this: I'll just 2 things. One of them is this.
Couple of 3 things. Yeah.
Just 2. I'll keep it very short because I know you're very busy. Is that I feel as if this entire country is in a coercive relationship with an abusive partner, right? And we just want the Conservatives to leave us. We keep saying, go, just go. We've had enough. And they don't go.
No.
They're stalking us. They're outside our house. They're kind of like, just leave. You know, we've got Liz Truss now, and we've got, Zaphod, and we've got... Just go away. You know, you've done your thing and you've destroyed us. Like, just leave us. We've had enough of you, please.
Well, there's still some bits of the country left, so they haven't actually achieved what it is that they set out to do, assuming that it is the destruction of this country and our entire way of life. They haven't completely achieved that end yet, so there's a little bit of work left to do.
But Nick, how can you, are they actually blind to the fact that most people who have got a brain cell that works wants them to leave? And I'm not saying that, Keir Starmer's any better, but it's just, we've had 15 years, whatever it is, with these guys, and they brought us into penury.
I'm not saying that Keir Starmer is any better. Is this another person who is giving us an excuse not to go and vote in the next general election?
I will listen. But this is the thing. I'm not one of those people. I will vote, and I will vote for him. I will vote for like I said to you the other day, I want a coalition between the Lib Dems and the Greens and the Labour Party. That's the only way we're going to get rid of these bloody lunatics.
Right. Well, don't sit on the fence, Sir John. Tell us what you think. All right. Thanks a lot, mate. 034. Calm down. It might never happen. Oh no, that's right. It already has. 0345 6060 973. Text 84850. Email nick@lbc.co.uk. If you're on Twitter, it's @LBC. Friday, Saturday, Sunday night at 10. Nick Abbott, LBC.
This is LBC with Nick Abbott. Call 0345 6060 973. Tweet @LBC. Text 84850.
Would you mind telling me what this is all about?
Search media. David texts, the pound is sinking because of Brexit, the NHS is crippled and our beaches are sewage infested. I cannot believe what Jeremy Corbyn has done to us. Well, that's this country's fault for electing a coalition of chaos. 0345 6060 973. Oldham. Hello, Graham.
Yes, sir. There's a couple of things. Are you aware that if people have got smart meters, those smart meters for electricity, at the flick of a switch, can be made to be prepayment meters?
No.
Well, if people get into too much debt when the price of all this electricity goes up, they won't have a choice. They'll be given a prepayment meter. And therefore, the cost of their electricity could increase by a minimum of 40%, which is what people on prepayment meters are already paying.
Right.
I just thought you might like to know.
Well, thanks for thinking of me.
I mean, it might not affect you because you're well heeled.
Well, I'm actually wearing trainers at the moment. They ain't got no heels at all. It's completely flat from toe to the back. But I do appreciate your concern.
I think people should consider, before they have a smart meter fitted, that this could happen to them.
Right, but can't they just turn off the gas and the electric if you don't pay anyway?
Well, they're not going to want to do that, are they? They don't want little old ladies to freeze to death, but they're quite prepared to fleece them.
Well, I'm sure they're not. They're not remotely interested how little old ladies die, one way or the other.
Well, I suppose it's a bit like with COVID, isn't it? You know, let the bodies pile high.
Yeah, exactly. Where is he? Where is he, by the way?
Yeah. Wait a minute.
I mean, we're paying him £13,000 a month to run this country. What's he done for us lately?
He's on holiday.
Again?
He's on holiday again. He's in Greece now.
A holiday from what?
That's not a musical, by the way. That's a country.
A holiday from Greece.
A holiday from Greece. The other point I wanted to make, I haven't watched much of these discussions between the two people who want to become our prime minister.
No one has.
Both of them seem to be. They can't seem to stress enough how wonderful they think Margaret Thatcher is. It's a bit like the Yorkshireman's case. I think she was marvellous. I think she was more marvellous. Yeah, but I still think she was more marvellous than you.
Yeah, wasn't Margaret Thatcher the one that sold off our electricity and gas and water? Isn't that her doing?
Yeah, but they said that the Brexiteers, and wasn't it Margaret Thatcher who said, "Why would you not want to belong to the biggest trading organisation in the world?"
Yeah, exactly. What kind of stupid country wouldn't want to belong to that? She said.
Yeah, but they're Brexiteers. They don't want to belong to it, but they agree with her because she was fantastic.
Yeah. Well, Rishi likes her taste in cashmere twin sets. And
have you seen his suits? Why are they always at half-mast? Has his cat died?
And Liz doesn't like anything more than Margaret Thatcher's haircut and her way of speaking. Lowered it very, very low and slowed it down. And she's very clear about everything. Thanks a lot, Graham. I think you're straying into listener with material territory. Darius emails, on a scale of 1 to 10, how productive do you think the Tory government is? I bet Zaphod knows.
And 1, 2.
2 out of 10. Kath Text, was the letter saying climate change isn't a thing signed by Dr. Harold Shipman and Dr. Johnny Bananas? I remember that. I remember them signing the Great Barrington Declaration, which said that COVID wasn't a thing. Well, it's a good job that COVID wasn't a thing, because otherwise this country would be in real trouble. Can you imagine? I'll get into that in a minute. So much to talk about. Where do I even begin? Let's have Oldbury, Ranjit.
How are you, Nick? You okay?
Yes, good, thanks.
Yeah, I just Liz Truss and Rishi Sunak. You know, they're idolising Margaret Thatcher. I was a young lad when Margaret Thatcher was electioneering in 1978-79. And she turned around and said she was going to help to repatriate foreigners back. Right?
To where?
To where they come from. I was born in England, right? So I don't know where she was going to send me back to.
Oldbury.
Yeah, but yeah. Right, so Rishi Sunak, right, he's a bit younger than I am, well, a lot younger than I am. His dad, when he must have come to this country, must have felt unwanted, right, with Margaret Thatcher going round and doing all this and getting all, and then Joe Public was saying, "Oi, go back to your own country," and stuff like that. So I don't even know how he can be a Conservative or any person who that affected.
Well, ditto Priti Patel. I mean, it seems to be, they're kind of like ex-smokers. People who have arrived from, I know Patel was born here, but her parents weren't. People who have arrived here from other countries, they get in, but they want the drawbridge pulled up after them. It's okay for me, but not for anybody else.
They totally forget where they've come from. And that's what's gone wrong in this country now at the moment, apathy, yeah? You know these people
Apathy? That's not what we've just described.
No, what I'm trying to... You know these people who are not supporting the strikes and how we've been, turned over by the government here. You know, if you look at your water bill, it tells you, surface water charges, this, that and the other. All that money is going into the coppers, but it isn't being spent, yeah? Now,
it is being spent. It's being spent on shareholder dividends and bonuses for executives for excellence in showing up to work.
And then, Liz Truss, how stupid does she think we actually are? That she's going to dress up like the stupid Iron Lady, by wearing those kind of clothes. Are these people going to think, oh my God,
the
80s?
Here's how stupid we are. It's working. She's ahead. She's in the lead. She pretty much everything she says makes absolutely no sense whatsoever, and she's still in the lead. I can't believe I'm about to say this, but I agree with Rishi Sunak on many of the things that he's talking about. Liz Truss doesn't make any sense on any given subject. I mean, she's just talking absolute nonsense, but in a low, very slow way, and she keeps saying that she's clear about a lot of things, And this causes the old bores who prop up the bar in the golf club to nod their head in agreement and think, oh, yeah, and she looks a bit like Margaret Thatcher, and because they're falling over themselves to vote for her. They can't wait to put a cross next to her name. Anyway, Ranjit, got to go. Thanks a lot, mate. 0345 6060 973. Text 84850. Email nick@lbc.co.uk. And if you're on Twitter, it's @LBC. Friday, Saturday, Sunday night at 10. Nick Abbott, LBC. It's just past 10:30.
Nick Abbott on LBC. Call 0345 6060 973.
Listen to him. He knows everything.
Liz Truss has batted away a backlash after a recording emerged of her complaining that British workers lack graft. The Tory leadership frontrunner swiped at the working culture in parts of the UK outside London, not inside London, outside London, comparing the graft of people working outside London unfavourably with China. China. So how's voting Tory working out for you, good people of the North?
Oh, fabulous.
Is it everything you ever dreamed of, you lazy, good-for-nothing layabouts? In the remarks, when Liz Truss was Treasury Minister between 2017 and 2019, she warned that for Britons to be richer, productivity must improve. Pressed by reporters in Northern Ireland, whether she believes that British workers are not working hard enough, Liz Truss replied, "What I believe is that we need more skills in our country, we need more capital investment in our country, we need more opportunity in our country. That is what I would deliver as Prime Minister." She says, we need to help more people get into work. We have a number of people across the country who are currently economically inactive. Yeah, people in hospital beds for a start. Drag those malingerers out the door. She says, what I want to do is help those people get into work and make sure we're creating those high-wage jobs in our economy. Yeah, that's what she's all about. High-wage jobs. I mean, has anyone asked for a higher wage lately? And how has the government responded to that? With great vengeance. She said, I am fundamentally on the side of people who work hard and do the right thing. Those are the people I want back. Back? From where? Rwanda? It's that high-wage, high-skill nonsense they keep saying while heading the country in the opposite direction. Whatever they say, just think the opposite of what you've just heard, and that'll be pretty much what's what the truth is. High-wage. Whenever anybody asks for a decent wage for a high-skilled job, the government immediately trots out the same old argument. Well, nurses don't get much, which is not an argument for, let's say, train workers to get less. It's an argument for nurses to get more. But that's not the way they put it. It's like, oh, you should be grateful for everything you got. Look at the nurses. They get nothing. Have to lick road clean, wit tongue. And... No, I can't do any more of that. I mean, it seems to me that what we're being driven to is a low-skill, low-wage economy. I mean, they keep going on about charter cities and these free ports, and that's exactly where that goes. Low wage, low skill. And they're desperate to get us there, too. Oh, just can't wait. And in a low-wage, low-skill economy, a maximum amount of profits go to those at the very top, and the rest of us are asking, please, sir, can I have some more? And getting the answer,
No, 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 no.
But when asked about this, former Cabinet Minister and Liz Truss fan Sajid Javid said he didn't know the exact context that the comments were made from Liz Truss, saying that British workers were lazy and lacked graft. He said he didn't know the exact context the comments were made in, and stressed that British workers are the most hard-working in the world. How can these people come out with this nonsense? British workers are the most hard-working in the world. Really? By what measure, Sajid Javid? Hours worked? Amount of calories used? concentration levels applied to the job? How exactly are British workers the most hard-working in the world? And how do you square supporting Liz the Blundertruss while thinking the exact opposite of what she believes are the qualities of British people? And it's not the first time she's said this. I mean, she's tried to say, please disregard everything I've said on any issue previous to this moment in time. I agree to disagree with Liz Truss, said Liz Truss. But it's not the first time she's said stuff like this. That famous book, Britannia Unchained, which was written by the gruesome bunch of Tory frontbenchers, quote, "Once they enter the workplace, the British are among the worst idlers in the world. We work among the lowest hours, we retire early, and our productivity is poor. Whereas Indian children aspire to be doctors or businessmen, the British are more interested in football and pop music." That's a direct quote from this book. That's what they think of us. That's what they think of you. The worst idlers in the world. Everything is always in the world with these people. We're not averagely idle. We are the worst ever. And still people vote for them. It's just mind-blowing. That book, by the way, written by Liz Truss, Dominic Raab, Kwesi Kwarteng, Priti Patel. A gruesome lineup. And those are the people that have been running the country for the last 12 years. That's exactly that. That's exactly who that is. And by some miracle, the rich have got richer and the poor have got poorer. Wow, it's almost like a plan. But despite the fuss, Truss was delivered a major boost today with the latest Conservative home poll saying she's firmly on track for victory on the 5th of September. Oh, no. She is going to be the next dear leader. She was 60% to 28% for Rishi Sunak in a survey of activists. One activist said, what are they thinking? What are they thinking? In the recording obtained by The Guardian, Truss can be heard saying there's a fundamental issue of British working culture. Essentially, if we're going to be a richer country, she says, and a more prosperous country, that needs to change. You need to work harder for less money. She said there was a slight thing in Britain about wanting the easy answers. But what actually needs to happen is more graft. It's not a popular message, she says. Well, it's not a true message. She also said that productivity was very, very different in London from the rest of the country, claiming this was partly a mindset and attitude thing. She hates you, you people of the North. She said productivity was very, very different in London from the rest of the country, claiming it was partly a mindset and attitude thing. She doesn't like your attitude. She says if you look at productivity, very different in London from the rest of the country. But basically this has been an historical fact for decades. Essentially it's partly a mindset and attitude thing. It's working culture, basically. This is the best bit. She says if you go to China, it's quite different, I can assure you. Well, yeah. Might that be because China's a dictatorship where you get ever so slightly killed if you don't do as you're told? Wow, that sounds like a dream come true, eh, Liz? And that's where we're going. Meanwhile, the actual reason that Brits have a low level of productivity is none of the reasons that she just said. It is, of course, because we have one of the lowest levels of investment. What happens with companies in this country is that all of the profits go directly into the pockets of management and shareholders. They don't invest in research and development. They don't invest in shiny new pieces of equipment. They're just taking as clean profit. They're just sucking the juice out of the companies that they run because they're not going to be running them for very long. What do they care? They're only, like your average chief executive is in a place for 5 years in which they have to make out like a bandit before they get parachuted into another country to do the same. It's less like being a manager, more like being a vampire. That's the reason that the British worker has a low level of productivity, is because of, not because of the worker, it's because of management. But of course that doesn't play very well with the management class, which is what she is going for. And it plays particularly badly with the donor class, who are the ones that are, scraping up all of the extra profits that in another better run country would actually go on improving the business to improve its prospects in the long term. Nobody's remotely interested in the long term in this country. Just grab as much as you can, as quickly as you can, and then fly away to some hellhole tax haven, which you'll have a headquarter in an empty building with a Union Jack fluttering from the government offices. That's what we do in this country. And she's complaining about something that is true. It is a problem in this country. We have low productivity, but she's blaming it on the little people, not leprechauns. Typical. I mean, it really is. The 1% have 99%, and even that's not enough. More. How do you like it? How do you like it? Andrea, True Connection? That's just a guess. 0345 6060 973. Text 84850. Email nick@lbc.co.uk. And if you're on Twitter, it's @LBC. Welling Garden City. Hello, Daniel.
Good evening, Nick. How are you?
Good, thanks.
At the top of the show, you were talking about good albums that came out in 1976.
Yeah.
But you missed off Station to Station by David Bowie, possibly the best album from that year.
It was yes. Well, any album by David Bowie is possibly the best album of any given year. But 76 was such a year. It was just absolutely phenomenal.
It was really good, yeah. Well, good. I'm glad we can agree on that. Last time I spoke to you, we kind of disagreed about Pulp, so we're back on the same scene sheet.
Okay. In perfect harmony. Thanks a lot, Daniel. 0345 6060 973. Text 84850. Email nick@lbc.co.uk. If you're on Twitter, it's @LBC. Friday, Saturday, Sunday night at 10. Nick Abbott, LBC.
Nick Abbott on LBC. Call 0345 6060 973.
Some nobody.
It took a while. What's that?
Some nobody.
Thanks. 0345. It's all about timing. 0345 6060 973. Adrian emails, good to see Dishy Rishi is in touch with the real world. Last week, while we were being told not to use water and wipe ourselves down with a damp wipe. That's two uses of the word wipe in the same sentence there, Adrian. He was having a swimming pool installed, and just to prove he's in touch with the people, Dishy hopes his football team win against a team. They aren't even playing. Well, he's trying to be a man of the people. God, I hope my football team wins against a team. Did he actually say that? 0345 6060 973. It's been waiting the longest. Eaton Wick. Philip.
Yes.
Philip.
Hello. Well, I had 2 points to make, if you have time for me.
Well, let's see how long the first one takes.
Well, let's do the first one quickly.
Do the first one first, yes.
Smart meters, not in your favour. They can be cut off remotely.
Well, yeah, but what difference does it make? They just send some bod out in a van and cut you off manually.
Yeah, no, but it's worse than that, because it could be a mistake. Can I go on to the second
It could be
point?
a mistake. An error.
If it's remote. Yeah.
An accident.
Yeah.
Well, it could be a mistake if they send some bod out with a van.
Yeah, but you physically see them arrive.
Yeah, and then what? Propel them at the door?
Well, I had to deal with bailiffs recently, so possibly. No, you're not coming in.
Right, well, they'll just cut you off from the road.
They could try.
Well, they could.
It's hard.
I seriously
Anyway.
doubt that, but go on.
Can I go on the other point, in terms of
connection,
yeah, and internet and those things.
What things?
Well, obviously, if you're connected to the internet.
Are you kidding me? I am connected like you wouldn't believe.
Okay. How
by which I mean, I don't mean I'm connected.
Absolutely.
Not that kind of connected.
Okay. Yeah.
Are you all right?
Be careful.
Be careful?
I'm fine.
Right, now you're threatening me. Okay, I've got no idea what the second point there was, Philip. I guess we'll never know. Disappointing. Damn it. Oh, well, never mind. Be careful? Kay emails, that was funny. The newsreader quotes, with Liz Truss saying she'll bring back... I thought the newsreader was going to say hanging, says Kay. Yes. I'm amazed they haven't said that yet, because that would go down like a house on fire with the old boars that prop up the bar at the golf club. Hanging. Oh, they'd love that. And of course, if Liz Truss said she'll bring back hanging, then the following day Rishi Sunak will say, I'll bring back quartering. It does seem that they're just competing with each other to see how awful they can be. And they'll do a swift pivot, when it's going to be Truss, isn't it? Well, Liz Truss is going to be the next leader of this country.
Oh, no.
I mean, what have we done to deserve this? I mean, this guy...
Yeah. Wait.
He's bad enough, but it's actually going to get worse. Can you believe it? Actually worse. Is Liz Truss the best person in the country to run this great land of ours?
Yes.
Oh, apparently so. Must be. She won. Or is about to. It's just stunning, isn't it? Hanging. I'm amazed they haven't said that yet. Of course, Priti Patel said that she will bring back hanging, but that's just Priti Patel. Yeah, I guess it could be even worse. It could be her that's the next dear leader. God, can you imagine that? Let's have Holland Park. Sky.
Hello.
Sky.
Hello, how are you?
I'm great, mate.
That caller that called in and said you were well heeled.
Yeah.
I just imagined you with a pair of Cuban heels on. Do you own a pair?
I've never owned a pair of Cuban heels. They don't seem like they'd be very comfortable to walk in. Like you'd be falling backwards all the time, wouldn't you?
Well, Simon Cowell does well in them. And on that note, my next question, if you said you owned a pair,
no,
of which I wasn't banking on that anyway, I was going to ask if you could lend them to Rishi Sunak, just to give him that little bit more height.
A little bit of a lift, yeah.
Yeah, a bit of height, just to, and then maybe he'll be more convincing and look like a real statesman. What do you think?
Like a tough guy?
Yeah, like a real baddie.
Well, Vladimir Putin doesn't have to duck when he goes through doorways, and he seems to be doing the baddie routine pretty well.
I've got. Sorry, just one more thing.
Yeah, and another thing.
Do you know Hot Man? You know the guy that. Do you know the hot air guy?
Oh, the hot air guy. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Does he get royalties every time you play his clip?
Absolutely.
Hot air. H-O-T-A-I-R.
Stop it! I won't be able to. Can you stop it? Because I'm just. My dogs are looking at me as if I'm having a.
That's what I'll do, Sky. I'll stop it. And anytime you want me to stop anything else, you let me know straight away. All right? Because this is a request show. Cheers, my dear. 0345 6060 973. Hey, by the way, this show gets stuck up the internet as a podcast. Did you know that? Pretty soon, it will be exclusively on Global Player. But at the moment, you can get it here, there, and everywhere, baby. Ask for it by name on an internet near you. It's called Nick Abbott, The Whole Show. You see, we take the news and the ads out, which means it takes less time to listen to. You'll use less electricity. And by this time next year, you'll have saved up enough to put a down payment on a pack of butter. Oh no, that's the other one I do. It's called Nick Abbott, The Whole Show. Not What's Your Problem with Nick and Carol.
Oh, right, yeah.
That's a different one entirely.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah, I'm talking about the whole show. Nick Abbott, The Whole Show. That's what it's called. Friday and Saturday night shows get stuck up the internet as a podcast. You'll love it. Let's have Enfield. Hello, Tony.
Hello, Nick. Yes, can I just comment on the this fear of this heating allowance and the increase on the heating, and you don't turn your heating off, you leave it on. Otherwise, you'll get cold, and if you're old enough, you could end up with hypothermia. And I don't think it's law that they can actually disconnect you. So anyone afraid that they're going to turn, because of the heating increase in the winter, don't turn your heating off. Turn it on. Keep it on. Well, and then at the end of the spring, you can negotiate with your supplier to pay a little bit extra on your spring and summer month payments. You just don't turn your heating off.
A little bit extra. Are you kidding?
Yes. Oh, I'm not kidding. I'm absolutely serious.
Right.
If you owe money to your supplier, they have to negotiate to get their money back, and obviously, the difference in what you owe them. But all this about turning your heating off, I won't give you the statistics because.
Thank goodness for that. Numbers, I hate numbers.
86%, exactly. 5 million, and of course,
just filling
over
the
50%.
Numbers
what
and
I'm
noise
saying is
signifying
an
nothing.
Additional 162.
Yes.
I'm up to my eyeballs with numbers.
And that comes, by the way, on top of the 500
million. On top of the
million.
500 million. Oh God, on and on and on he goes.
And Nick, I won't give you the statistic on this stuff.
No.
But the amount of people that died last year of hypothermia, I mean, you can do your own research.
I won't.
No, you won't, because if you're talking about these people cannot afford to pay the heating, so we're going to have more people dying of hypothermia.
All right, can we talk about that when it's actually cold? Because at the moment it's lovely out.
Oh, you mean when you're carrying the bodies out? Yeah, that would be in the winter. Yeah, and I
Tony, have you ever heard of the phrase, you're harshing my buzz?
Yes.
You're being a real downer, man. I mean, cheer up, mate. It might never Oh, no, that's right. It already has. 0345. He's the kind of guy who makes the news seem cheery. 0345 6060 973. Text 84850. Email nicka@lbc.co.uk, and if you're on Twitter, it's @LBC. Did he just say when you're carrying the bodies out? Wow. This is perfectly normal for a well-run country. Friday, Saturday, Sunday night at 10. Nick Abbott, LBC.
On your radio, on Global Player, and
Play LBC.
Leading Britain's conversation. This is LBC.
Release.
This is LBC from Global, leading Britain's conversation with Nick Abbott.
Shut up.
Do you mind if I say a few words? Thank you.
Bill texts, I am very sorry about Liz Cheney. She didn't do terribly well. It doesn't look good for the anti-Trumpers. Oh dear, says Bill. Oh dear. Not very happy with you, Donnie.
Don't talk to me that way. I'm the President of the United States. Don't ever talk to the President that way.
Don't ever talk to the President that way. No, Liz Cheney was blown out of the water by the Trump fanatics. Those Looney Tunes that seem to have joined a cult.
Is he crazy, or is that just the way he acts?
Crazy. Simon says, as a member of the Conservative Party with a vote for the next leader of the Tory party, I wonder if I could transfer it to a vote for the Finnish Prime Minister to be our next leader, as she sounds like a right laugh. Yes. Yeah. I've just been to a business meeting with the Finnish Prime Minister. Steve says, you're right, the whole country is sinking. This entire country is going down. It's perfectly normal for a well-run country. Good grief. This used to be a fairly decent country. I mean, it is still a decent country, but it's not like what it used to be. But then what is? Let's have Chingford. John.
Hello?
John. Yes, John.
Oh, hi. Just regarding Liz Truss's lazy Brit sort of shtick that she keeps coming up with now, or was rediscovered saying. I remember going to primary school in the 50s, and we had a very right-leaning teacher who was always going on about it's the lazy workers that let this country down. So it's a back to the 50s vibe. I mean, also bearing in mind, in the 50s, I mean, a lot of the working conditions were pretty abysmal.
Yeah.
Compared with now. And just can I just get another two-header in, a bit off topic?
The working conditions used to be terrible, which is where we're going back to. I think it's called cutting red tape.
Yeah. I mean, in the 50s, I mean, factory conditions and things were terrible. You know, I mean,
health and safety, all of that lot. Everything that unions have delivered us from is where we're going back to.
Yeah, back to the future, or back to the murky past. But thank God we've got people like Mick Lynch fighting people's causes. Well, the more of them, the better, really, at the moment.
Interesting times that in not too distant past, the person like Mick Lynch would be characterised as an enemy of the people, and the people would have agreed with that, but not no more.
No, it's something progressive happening, actually, but... can I just make another very quick point? I mean, this is off topic, but I see Cineworld are on the verge of going bust. Does that mean streaming's taking... Sorry?
Are they?
Well, no, they're about $5 billion in debt because there's not enough there's not enough Top Guns coming along.
Right.
And the thing, it's on the news today that they're $5 billion in debt, and they're the second largest cinema chain. I was just going to say, does this mean the death of actual cinema and streaming is the way ahead? I mean, I don't do streaming, I'm too old, but...
well, it's interesting that at the same time, the major streaming service, Netflix, is also under economic privations. Shares in Cineworld have fallen more than 60% as concerns mount that the world's second largest cinema chain is about to file for bankruptcy. It says here, this story out today. I missed this completely. Excellent work there, John.
Okay, well, also, don't forget to give Steve Allen a slice of your birthday pizza, please.
Absolutely. Thanks for asking. The company Cineworld, which owns the Picture House chain in the UK, is struggling under $5 billion worth of debt. Like other cinema chains, COVID hit Cineworld hard. It recently said that post-COVID customer levels were lower than expected and blamed limited film releases. Yeah, well, there ain't been no films to go and see. I mean, apart from anything else, most of the films at the cinema are for children. I mean, all that Marvel superhero stuff, for crying out loud. How many films are you going to make for 12-year-olds? Can we have something for grown-ups, please?
No.
Apparently not. And Top Gun was... I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing it again when it comes around on the telly. I will sit there and watch it because the stunts were fan-bloomin-tastic. But it was a bit like having America throw up on you. I mean, it was very, very American. All of that, woo! All of that stuff, jocks wooing at each other. The whooping and the yelling. Yeah, America! All of that. It was a bit much for me. and I suspect a bit much for the British audience. But I could completely understand why America went for it hook, line and sinker. Especially the grief that we've all just gone through. They want something patriotic to whoop about. And America whoops at Tom Cruise doing, great stunts. And in this country, we whoop at, singing Jerusalem at the last night at a proms or something of that order. I have no idea. But it's, we're joined by a common language, and that's about it. There just haven't been many good films out because the whole business shut down for COVID. That's the problem. It's going to take a while to... And TV's the same. I don't know if you've noticed, but there ain't been nothing to watch on TV for the past year. At least 2 years, maybe. Because these things take a while to come through, to get shot. And everything's shut down for COVID. So, yeah, I completely understand why the cinema is having difficulty at the moment. But apart from anything else, having been away from crowds for such a long time as we all were, it's a bit hard to get back into the swing of being in among a load of people, don't you find? It always... ever since it happened, I've been thinking, I don't want to go back to that at all, ever. But it was quite nice to have a little bit of space around you, wasn't it? You walk down London's fashionable West End and just those crowds that you're met with, it's just a bit much. All these people, where do they come from? Let's have Chingford. Didn't I just do you, John?
Yeah, you certainly did.
Oh, you're just still hanging on the telephone like Blondie.
Rock and roll!
All right, thanks for that. Let's have Tower Hamlets. Raj.
Sorry for the delay. I'm doing a bit of tidying up in the kitchen.
Doing a bit of tidying, yes.
Yeah. I'm trying to save from some water, doing some spit and polish.
Right, well, that's very interesting. What else have you got?
Or funny. Because I'm thinking, where's Boris? And I've looked on the internet, I was thinking about that book, that character, Where's Wally? And there's actually kind of like a similar Where's Boris book as well. That's discovered.
Have you?
Yeah, so it's just interesting, like, he hasn't been in the news quite recently, so I was thinking, where's our Prime Minister?
Right, well, as soon as you find out, pop it on a postcard and send it to the following address. Thanks a lot, Raj, for whatever that was. Kath text, last night Ian Payne was interviewing an American expert about self-driving cars, and the man said that the Tesla one had problems because it mistook the moon for traffic lights. Well, who hasn't done that? It made me think of Liz Truss, says Kath. Sounds like something she would do. A robot trying to act like a human and failing badly.
Affirmative.
Josh texts, was that water minister called Steve Bubble? He certainly ain't making rivers and beaches very clear. Tom says, as a Lancashire lad, born and bred, I'm unable to add any more to this text as I'm feckless, bone idle and unable to graft. Seems to be something wrong with me this week. This week, JR text, if there's one thing that isn't clear about the Tories, it's water. Yeah. Sewage in the sea. This is another Brexit benefit. Cutting that red tape. Labour has accused the government of allowing water companies to cut corners after new figures showed that 1,000 years' worth of raw sewage has been dumped into UK's waterways since 2016. What? 1,000 years of raw sewage has been dumped into UK waterways since 2016. Here's the report from PA News. Figures obtained by the party from the Environment Agency through Freedom of Information requests indicate that since 2016, raw sewage has been pumped into the natural environment for a total of 9,427,355 hours. The figures, which equate to 392,000 days' worth of raw sewage discharge, probably do not cover the full scale of the pollution. Shadow Environment Secretary Jim McMahon said he attacked water companies and the government over the findings. He said families across Britain are trying to enjoy the summertime. Whilst water companies are paying billions in dividends, the Tories have allowed them to cut corners and pump filthy raw sewage onto our playing fields and into our waters. Well, that may be so. But it's British filth that happy British people are paddling in a glorious brown tide of foaming effluent lapping at the shore as British people celebrate our freedom from those pesky European rules on how much human poop is safe to bathe in. I can practically smell the sovereignty from here.
Disgusting.
Areas affected by raw sewage discharge include, but are not limited to, popular tourist and bathing spots such as rivers and beaches. There's been a 2,553% increase in the number of monitored discharge hours between 2016 and 2021. A 2,553% increase in the number of monitored discharge hours between 2016 and 2021. And it's drastically worsening. In 2016, the Environment Agency recorded 100,000 hours worth of spills. By 2021, that figure had rocketed from 100,000 hours to 2,667,000 hours.
What?
Yeah. 2,667,000 hours of sewage discharge. That is raw sewage straight into our waterways. A Conservative spokesman for the Department for Environment, Food and Rural Affairs said the government is taking action on sewage discharges. No, that's not the correct form of response at all. What they meant to say was that Prime Minister Liz Truss has been very clear that there is nothing wrong with private water companies making vast profits while fouling our rivers and beaches, and that we must not become a country that thinks that profit is considered a dirty word, even if it is profiting from actual dirt. Very clear about that. John emails just wondering why you can never work out why Brexiter Mick Lynch is so popular with the people. Yeah, that's right. It's because he was a supporter of Brexit, John. Do me. How's Brexit working out for the working man and woman?
Oh, fabulous.
Yeah, that's what I thought. We got an entire ghostly hat stand whose position in life is to find one single benefit from the Brexit that he engineered for us. And so far...
I don't know anything.
I'm sorry, what?
I don't know anything.
One more time?
I don't know anything.
He don't know nothing. 0345 6060 973. Devlin tweets, we've reached the point where newspapers are advising their readers which mouldy food is safe to eat. That's right. Yeah, you just eat around the mould. I mean, if those same rags hadn't persuaded folk to remove my freedom of movement and make me destitute, I'd blooming well leave the country, says Devlin. Well, I'd blooming well be right behind you. It's just great when they say, well, if you don't like it, well, you can just go and live in France. No, we can't. 0345 6060 973. Text 84850. Email nick@lbc.co.uk. If you're on Twitter, it's at LBC. Friday, Saturday, Sunday night at 10. Nick Abbott, LBC.
Leading Britain's conversation. LBC with Nick Abbott.
You're joking.
I am not. Nicola texts, will you be watching This England starring Kenneth Branagh as Boris Johnson? Well, let me think about that for a moment.
No.
No. I've never heard of it. What is it? I don't care. I'm not watching it. This England starring Kenneth Branagh as Boris Johnson.
Yeah. Wait a minute.
I had the actual Boris Johnson up to my eyeballs. I want to see somebody impersonating him? No. It's a no from me. Danny texts, I am disabled and got my text from Thames Water to say to say ban is from 24th of August. Hosepipe ban, you mean? Interestingly, says Danny, I am still allowed to use my hosepipe, but I don't have a garden. Well, have you considered getting one, Danny? That's just a thought. You're welcome. David texts, long-time listener here, you do give me a chuckle and have good criticisms of politics, but Brexit was a fair vote. Better to get on with it and accept the result. No, David, have you learned nothing? It was not a fair vote. It was the exact opposite of a fair vote. Everything they promised was a lie. Everything. All of it. It was all based on lies, and it was engineered by vast amounts of money, the origin of which we still don't know. But if Vladimir Putin had a tiny part in it, then it's gone extremely well for him. You just have to say that coincidentally, it went extremely well for Vladimir Putin, or anybody else that actually is casting this country as an enemy, because we've done dismally badly ever since. It was not a fair vote. What are you talking about? And it gives us an indication as to what the next general election is going to be like. Billions of adverts will be pouring all over social media, which will be targeted at you personally based on your internet use. If you have looked up how to de-flea a dog, they will be telling you that the party that perhaps you intend to vote for is very anti-dog. Their policy is to kill all dogs. So vote for another party. It's going to be like that. There's just going to be so much of that. I think the era of free elections is over. A fair election. Please. You lost. Get over it. No, we all lost. Why should we get over it? Leeds. Hello, Mick.
Hi, good evening, Nick. How are you?
Good, thanks.
Yeah, I'm just watching the Tories now on TV. It's like watching a live episode of Spitting Image. An absolute bunch of wasters and idiots. But I've got a really good idea to bring the prices of food down and petrol and energy. Why don't we all agree just to move our business to one retailer, one energy company, one petrol station, and that will kick in competition again and bring the prices down?
Right, so you want everything to be provided for as a monopoly by just one company?
If we move our business to one company, that'll trigger the other companies to bring their prices down and trigger competition again, because at the moment there is just no competition in the markets. But if we move our business to one company, that will trigger the other companies to reduce their prices to get the business back. It's simple economics.
Well, it'd be very, very difficult human behaviour to engineer. It would mean that we're all acting as one, which ain't going to happen.
Well, you could kick it off here to Nick tonight by starting this campaign.
Right. Well, leave it with me, Mick.
It's all in your hands, Nick.
Yeah, okay. I am personally responsible. No pressure. Thanks a lot, Mick. Helen says, if we have self-driving car technology now, do you think that Rees-Mogg and the Tory Brexit lot have found those technological solutions to the Irish border issue yet? No, they're still looking. Found anything so far?
I don't know anything.
He still doesn't know anything. If we have self-driving car technology now, I mean, we probably do have self-driving car technology now, but it won't work because morons. That's why it won't work, because morons. I mean self-driving cars. If everybody was in a self-driving car, if there was no such thing as a human-driven car, then everything would work perfectly well. You'd get to where you're going probably quicker than you do now, with all that revving and flashing of lights and tailgating and undertaking and all of that nonsense that people engage in because they think they're Lewis Bloomin' Hamilton on the roads. That's right, Bodge. But unfortunately, self-driving cars will be occupying the road with human-driven cars.
Oh, no.
And we all know what they're like. Idiots. They're everywhere. So your self-driving car will get bullied off the road by moron-driven cars because they won't let them out of side roads and they won't let them overtake and they won't let them drive at 20 mile an hour without being pushed along the road, physically pushed by someone going berserk behind them in a hatchback. Yeah, self-driving car technology, it ain't going to work because of morons. The actual technology might work, but it doesn't allow for human beings. Patrick texts, usual slander, EU skeptics existed before any shenanigans from Russia. Right, so you're admitting that there were shenanigans from Russia, okay? EU skeptics existed. But what do you mean by EU? But people who don't like foreigners, is that what you mean? EU skeptics. Do me a favour. People who don't like money and progress and concord. Not the plane, but, you know. Nicholas emails, I'm a Conservative member and I strongly believe in Brexit as I had made an informed decision to leave the EU. I have an extensive knowledge of modern politics and the study of the moon in equal measure. I object to your continuous criticism of Brexit, which I consider totally untrue. I suppose next you're going to tell us that the moon is not made of cheese. Oh, God. A listener with material. If only they put the end part about the moon being cheese at the beginning, I could have saved myself at least, 30 seconds? Bazza emails, you're wrong, it was Joe Jackson who sang Is She Really Going Out With Him? That was about, blimey, is it an hour and a half? What have we talked about so far? Anything? An hour and a half since I started, and I did mention Is She Really Going Out With Him? In reference to The Damned. Yeah, I know Joe Jackson sang Is She Really Going Out With Him? Which is a pretty, complainy song.
Whinging and whining and moaning.
But it does sound like, he was just whining. Can't you find someone else, Joe? I mean, you're a pop star and all. It can't be that hard. But yeah, no, the beginning of The Damned New Rose, Dave Vanian says, is she really going out with him? And then those drums kick in. Oh, what a track. And I do believe that was the first punk single in this country. Not ever. I think the Americans got there before us. We like to think that we were first with punk, but I think America got there before we did. I mean, there was the Ramones and Richard Hell and the Voidoids and the New York Dolls. And if you want to go back even further than that, there was Iggy Pop, MC5. Quite a lot went on in America before we got on that train. But no, Is She Really Going Out With Him was the beginning of New Rose by The Damned. Get with it, Bazza. You want to be hip and with it like me. Mark says, speaking of blood on the tracks, when I think of Truss and Company, I recall that line from Idiot Wind. It's a wonder that they still know how to breathe. Yeah. Idiot Wind. Kirsty texts, how can Keir Starmer win a general election without Scotland? And as we all know, Scotland are no longer interested in Labour. Richard emails, they start by saying it's too soon to judge Brexit, and some of them are still saying that. The rest are saying the vote has happened, it's in the past, and it's time to move forward. They will never address the middle part, which is how well is Brexit going right here and now? It's hard to know why they won't talk about that bit. Yeah, difficult to know. Anybody have any idea why they won't talk about what's happening right now? Anybody? Anybody at all? Could it be because it's an absolute, complete and utter disaster? Oh my God, I've got 10 pages of emails and text to get through, and I've only been on an hour and a half. I am very bad at my job.
Correct.
0345 6060 973. Text 84850. Email nicka@lbc.co.uk. If you're on Twitter, it's @LBC.
Leading Britain's conversation. LBC with Nick Abbot.
And remember, darling, I don't work before 10 in the morning and never after 4:30 in the afternoon.
Typical British worker, lazy layabouts. Ain't that right, Liz?
That is a disgrace.
It's a disgrace. We should be ashamed of ourselves. Luke texts, I'd be interested to hear your thoughts on the private rental market. Do you think caps should be put on rent so that landlords can't keep raising rent prices during the cost of living crisis? Wow. What are you asking me for? I think it would be a good idea to get into a time machine and not allow the Conservative Party to sell off all of our council homes, which have ended up in the hands of private landlords. And now nobody can afford to buy a place and nobody can afford to rent a place. And there aren't any houses for councils to give to people who can't afford to rent or buy a place. But apart from that, everything is going swimmingly, is what I think. Let's have a call in Buckhurst Hill. Carol.
Hi.
Carol.
Hi. Yes.
Yes, Carol.
Yes. So it was Liz Truss. I don't know, have you worked out this thing with the grammar schools? If you really think about the thing with the grammar schools, I think she's doing it for her base because obviously they're all going to get into the grammar school. Mm-hmm. But everybody thinks that they've got a bright child, perhaps that they've got a chance to get into the grammar school.
Right.
But the thing is, to get into the grammar school, you're going to be having to do 2 years of verbal and non-verbal reasoning tutoring. And the thing is, if you work out that a lot of kids will already be in prep school, and they basically the onus is on the parents. They're going to be able to save all their school fees for senior school. If you work out how much the senior school will cost for the 7 years, it's kind of 250,000 is like a good average. So effectively, I don't see how they're not going to be trying to get their children into the grammar school because they're going to be saving best part of £250,000.
Well, what's incredible is that education is so badly run in this country that people think that it's good value for money to spend £250 million on sending their kid through school because they are absolutely convinced, with justification, that they will do better in life after. Yeah, it is. But, I mean, the thing is that people think that they're going to be able to get into these grammar school places. They're just not going to have a shout at getting into them. There's no way. I mean, if it's going to be a grammar school place, 2 years of, they've just got to fork out for the 2 years of verbal and non-verbal reasoning, but they've already forked out for prep school for thousands and thousands, and they're going to possibly save £250,000. It's just like a no-brainer, isn't it? What's non-verbal reasoning?
It's the 11 plus.
Right.
So there's different. There's two parts of it: the verbal and non-verbal reasoning. And I did the 11 plus. I didn't know anything about doing verbal and non-verbal reasoning, but that's what it is. And there's a complete. It's a whole. There's a procedure that people go through. You do the two. You're at the prep school, and then on top of that, you pay for the special tutoring to get you through the 11 plus.
Yeah,
it's all a done deal.
If you can.
If you can, yeah, but pretty much they'll be throwing everything at it to.
Well, it's worth the spending £40 an hour on getting some tutor in to save £250,000 later on. Yeah, ask me any question, Carol, from the 11 plus.
Oh gosh, I don't know. I really would.
Test
me. It was. I can't remember. It was the stuff like it was the visual stuff, wasn't it? What does the other? If this looks like? Oh, this sounds silly. If the square looks like, or the shape looks like this, which is the bit that fits into it?
The left bit. I bet I got that right.
Exactly.
The left bit is the correct answer. Wow, I am great at this. All right, thanks a lot, Carol. 0345 6060 973. The rich will do just fine. Don't you worry about that. Neil's emails. I have finally found a Brexit benefit. Hey, he's found a Brexit benefit, smug. He says, this week, while coming back from France, I bought a bottle of whiskey duty-free. It was €6 cheaper than if I had been travelling to an EU country. Totally worth the billions in damage to the economy, if you ask me.
Booze.
While coming back from France, I bought a bottle of whiskey duty-free. It was €6 cheaper than if I had been travelling to an EU country. I don't really get how that works. Right. But if you just bought it here, where whiskey comes from, wouldn't it have been €6 plus cheaper? Because they wouldn't have had to send it to France with all the costs involved in that.